So this is radio number 2, the second and final radio in box 30. I think we moved to box 32 then. I think 31 was that Uniden base station that had to jump the queue because of me needing it for box 26. So this is also from, of course, from Alan, the mystery benefactor from Lincolnshire. So we've got a Commtron CB40F. We have gained an extra LED. How bizarre is this? That looks factory, but it's different. Oh well. 2 LEDs. So he's bodged a power connector. We can sort that because we have the tooling for those. Yes, I spent a lot of money getting the tools from Japan so we could manufacture Maxcom power leads. I won't open it up. We'll do what we've been doing recently. He says this is a temporary power lead, and of course it is. We'll do what we've been doing recently, and we'll see what it's doing, the radio's doing, as it is given to us. Now, there's no safety problem with this one because again he's tried it. So we'll plug into extension speaker and we'll switch the power supply on at 13.8 volts, current limited to 1.6 amp. Yes, now this is the microphone which we're issued with it. I haven't really seen a working one of these in recent years. So there we are on channel 20. So plugged into the test equipment. Select picture in picture. Turn the volume down a bit. Here we go. It is transmitting. We'll use the same piece of paper. Other way on. Commtron CB40F TX. More than 3 watts. 3.1 watt. Frequency oh what on earth's happening there? So off frequency. See where we are on channel 40. See where we're on channel 1. It's virtually on CPT spacing. Absolutely miles off frequency, so I don't know what's happening there. It's not got some switches that do something strange, has it? Let's just fiddle with some of these switches. High-low power does just that. Oh my goodness. He's on channel 9. But it seems to be varying. channel 9 is causing it to do something weird. So it's just off frequency a bit on normal channels, but you press the channel 9 switch and it does something illegal. So it's 2779088. So it's not that far off, but that's caught me out with the channel 9 switch doing something really, really weird. So, deviation. Wallow. It's 2.1. That might works. Wow. Let's go over to the synod meter. Switch it on. Put a bit more volume on. It's a bit deafer than it should be. It's 1.25. Right, so that's what we've got. Well, I can see we're going to be taking all the lids off this. So that's why we've got the extra LED, has it? To warn people that it's in dodgy mode. Whatever's happened must be underneath. It's in lovely condition now, isn't it? You know, considering it's 40 years old. What is the date? November 81, so it's out of the first batch. It's switching in a second crystal. To make it go in between channel. Of course, the intermediate frequency of the receiver is derived from the 10.24 crystal. Anything like this, and it sends the receiver very wrong on its IF. So that's your that's what happens, isn't it? So we've got to get rid of this. And we'll have to open up another one to restore channel 9. So what's this crystal? 10.2195. Well, that's going in the bin. So, has this got the components in? It hasn't to do the VCO test. They're not normally fitted. I don't. The thing is locking on channel 1 and channel 40, so I don't think we need to bother fitting the missing components. Which I see when these are done at the factory, they put this down on a pin jig, and it just picks up what it needs to pick up, and they get the reading. So we'll start with the transmitter. See if we can get 4 watts out of it. What we'll do, I think, is try and get it on frequency. So this, by going in between these channels, what it would do, it would have made it compatible with illegal sets that have got what they called high band, hadn't they? They got the CPT band, which they called, I think they called it mid band, didn't they? Don't know what it's supposed to be in the middle of, but they got a lower band, and then they got a higher band, and then they've got the super high band, hadn't they? And so it would have made it compatible with illegal AM sets which have got high band but FM. Well, I'll tell you what, it's certainly already benefiting from a tune-up, because we've now got 3.4 watts out of it. Just a shade away from 3.5. That's too small. There we have just over 4. Just need to check that we're now in this right position still with this one. In fact, it's so near to 4, we'll leave it. If you were out slightly over, you can drop it down with the end one there. So we're not going to touch the end one, we don't need to, because it's brought it up to 4. It's probably 4.05 when it's cold. So I can never remember what presets or what, even though I've done one last week. We'll clean that silver plated preset. We'll clean that silver plated preset, like it makes any difference. Not. But remember, that's low power. So switch to low power. Let's see what we've got. We've actually got 1.2 watts. It's supposed to be 400 milliwatts. 400 milliwatts we've now got. The power meter is just about 5, so of course it's supposed to be reading 4, because it's doing 4. That's that. Deviation. Let's get the little Korg chromatic tuner out we use as an oscillator. We're in the wrong band again. How's that happened? See where we are. It's B, isn't it? There we go. So just bring that up a bit. I recall it's that one. Wallow. Wow, that's well over the top. How's that happened? Try it there. Wallow. That's spot on now. Now I'm interested to see what this is going to sound like on the air test, because I not remember having a Max on mic that works. I say Max, you know, that's the manufacturer, isn't it? Just pop our walkie-talkie on. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Alan. That's gold dust, isn't it? That. We've done a lot, haven't we? We've done absolutely everything on transmit. Right, we'll see whether we can work some magic on receive. So first of all, we'll go over to the oscilloscope and we'll check. We will check the detector. So we're going to put an S9 equivalent signal on the signal generator of 100 microvolts, and we'll put enough volume to get a meaningful trace. And then the coil hiding down here will adjust for maximum recovered audio. Not far out at all. Now we'll go over to the synod meter. And attenuate it till we get about 4 dB. And go through the front end. Massive improvement there. Change the attenuator again. Let's go for a bigger signal on this one. There we are. Front end once more. It amazes me why people tune these down instead of tuning them up. Why do they make them so much worse? I don't get it. Right, we'll get a new reading now for that synod, because what a significant improvement. So we've got 4 watts there. We've got that on frequency. We've got deviation to 2.2 to 2.5. And, oh, I turned it down, that's why it went up so. I thought it needs to come up more than that, that's why my first deviation setting brought it up to about 3. And let's see what this synod is now. I'll just turn the volume up a bit so the AGC has a fighting chance. It's now 0.88 microvolts. Still for 12 dB synod. So that's massive improvement. So that leaves us with the squelch. I've turned the squelch to full. Let's go over to the attenuator control so you can see me fiddling with those. 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts. 300 microvolts, 1 millivolt, 3 millivolts. That's been fiddled with good and proper. That's now opening at 100 microvolts on full squelch, which is your S9 equivalent. So that's where we want it. And the second thing to do is to turn the squelch down to minimum, put the signal generator to standby, set the squelch to threshold, put the signal generator back on. Just about coming in at that. Just coming in at 0.35 microvolts. It blooming well is. And it's going out at 3.3 of a microvolt. That's a sensitive squelch. So I've set up that nicely. This version I don't think has an S meter adjustment. You get what you're given. Let's see what it says for S9. Well, its lazy needle says just under 5 for 100 microvolts. So to get an S9, it thinks you need what? What are we on? Oh my goodness, we're on 650 millivolts for S9. Now some later sets have got a preset on the back of the meter, some have got presets in other places. This isn't one of them. I'm dead against modifying the sets to have an adjustable meter because it's not how they were, and it then gives you can have 2 or 3 of these in your collection and they're different instead of all being modified so they're the same. So this is the one without the meter adjustment, and that's fine. So what we've got to do is we've got to put what's going out on this. It's a dry joint. That's probably just my connections. Check these screws are tight, because if the chassis isn't bonding to the printed circuit board properly, you get all kinds of anomalies. We're going to take off the front panel. So we'll pull the knobs off. You know what I never did check? Does the TX light work? No, it doesn't. That's usual on these. I'll tell you what, we'll take that LED out and we'll put it in the TX light, seeing as that one works. And we'll leave a hole, which I'd rather leave. I'd rather have that hole than an extra LED which shouldn't be there. It's been neatly done, yes, but I don't know. Just take those off as a temporary measure. So what I've got to do is to get another of these sets out, open it up and do a comparison of what they've done with the wiring. So pause the video while I do that. Okay, so I've spent an hour rewiring the channel 9 switch. There's 5 wires go on and it's all been cut out. There's a white wire there, there's 2 wires onto there, there's one onto the bottom of there, and so it goes on. So I had to take another set apart. So it took 40 minutes to do with the actual radio, and now to put the channel 9 switch back right. So if we power that back up, if we put the power supply on, it might even help. And if we connect, oh, I've done the power lead. So I've used the same, this is the same piece of wire which was on it, and we've put one of the proper power connectors on it, put a fuse holder on it, and then there's a couple of bits of heat shrink sleeving there so that it doesn't start pulling apart with a 2 amp fuse in there or a 3 amp fuse, something sensible. So we'll connect that back up. It's pretty short power lead, it's absolutely adequate, and I didn't want to waste the wire he'd put on. There we go. So we've got the transmit light working, we've got the channel 9 switch working, we have got the channel 9 switch working, and if we plug the mic in, I don't need that on anymore. We've got a TX light, which is the LED which was shoved up there. So we've got a little hole there. Someone who was wanting to have this as a collectible item could, of course, fill that hole in and put a little bit of black paint on, but I thought I'd leave it as it is. Showing what's happened to it in the past. I'm just going to check that we're actually on frequency for channel 9. So the other thing now to do is, does the public address facility work? So switch it to PA. Testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Bit of noise on that volume control, we'll deal with that. Now we hadn't had the volume that high, you see, when it was in CB mode, so I hadn't noticed that as a snag. 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. Good. So we're all done. I'll put the lids on. Okay, so it's now all put back together, and let's see if anybody's on. 1 Anna Roger. Well, somebody's on. 19 a Roger. I expect they're on about 100 watts. One Anna Roger. So as ever, just the bucket mouths on. 35 miles away, I expect, and that'll be ready for an on-the-air test. Thanks for watching the Commtron 40F, and thank you to Alan. Very kind of you to send me that.